I just come back in on active duty. I go back through the captain's career course now as an '03. I'm a senior badge EOD guy. I told my wife, I said, I'm deploying. I've been out of the game for a while. I'm the first in line to go. So we need to be prepared that wherever I end up at, I'm deploying first, just to let you know. Not so this isn't a surprise to her. So she understands that this is going to be coming up. So now I go back in as a captain into another staff position. But there's a company that's getting ready to deploy, a 44-man EOD company. And the guy that's in charge of them is getting ready to make 04. But he's an idiot. He went to school with this entire company. We just stood this company up. So this company has no experience except the platoon sergeants and first sergeant. They're old like I am. So, which is always funny. Yeah. As a 03, usually you're 26, 27 years of age, and I'm nearly 40. I'm 39. So, and I've already been deployed, and I'm ready to go.
A lot of experience.
So they say, hey, we're kicking this guy out. You're going in. So I am 2 months away. I just get there, and 2 months we're deploying. So I have to figure out team assignments and everything like that. So now the responsibility is heavier. Now it's I'm taking over the sons and daughters to a foreign land, and the weight of the world is on you because you want to bring them home. Now the responsibility is I'm taking a company. I'm the guy in charge. I'm the guy that the buck stops with me. And whereas in '05, I got to run missions. I'm not going to be able to run missions. I have to rely on my new company, which I'm scared to death over and I nearly got fired before we even deployed because, I went to my battalion commander, who I'm older than, which is hilarious to think about. He's like, what do you think of your company? I'm looking through the paperwork, and I said, sir, they all just graduated school this year, '08. They just graduated. And I may have some E5s and E6s that were prior MOS, like infantry and stuff like that decided to come in. They have some experience, but they're not EOD techs. I got 3 platoon sergeants and a first sergeant who were there with me in '03, and who've got the experience, but they're not going to be running the teams. They're the ones going to be managing these kids. I said, how many of them do you want to die? Because that's what's going to happen. Someone's going to die. And he didn't like that. But I'm just being straight with you, sir. I'm like, I'm a senior badge wearer. I got years under my belt, but these kids don't have nothing. And they think it's a big game because, when you go through school, nothing's alive. Nothing's trying to kill you. I can look at a piece of ordnance on the ground that I'm supposed to do something with. I can kick it all day long. It's never going to go off. But I go, this is for real now. This is the stuff that, is going to end up getting someone killed. So I come in there with a different perspective. I'm the babysitter. I'm the dad. I'm the mom, and my goal is I have to take all the heat. So, they don't. They can do their job. And then, of course, you get the call. You get the call at 3:30 in the morning. You get a call at 3:30 in the morning. It's not a good call. So what had happened? I lost a guy. We took our first casualty. So, and that was a tough one. And that was you join. I wouldn't say it's a club, but you're one of those commanders who unfortunately didn't get to bring everybody home. So you go through a lot of fiasco and a lot of turmoil when you lose somebody, because now you got to bring you got to call at 3:30 in the morning. My battalion commander and my XO didn't even have the audacity to call me. It was the operations officer, who I had more respect for anyway. But he called me up and said, you lost somebody. And now it's my responsibility for, to notify everybody. So I got to call all my teams to let them know one of our guys died. And so you had to do that. So
what happened?
The best way I can explain it is you get those mortar shells, or I can't remember if it was a mortar shell or an artillery shell, but had a phone attached to it, to a motorcycle battery. You always have a battery source, and you always have something that's going to receive a message. So they did what they're supposed to do, which is interrogate it, pull it apart, took it back, and we knew through history that there would always be some type of fingerprints that we could hopefully identify the person who put it together, whether that was the bomb maker, whether I was just someone on his or her team, so my guy was, you're carefully removing tape so you can expose the fingerprints. And once again, everything was separated, but it was a new tactic, something we hadn't seen before. Because what you have to remember is that everything that we learned in school was all conventional type, shells. So they have different procedures. An IED is improvised, which means it's all at the mercy and that's the best way, imagination of the bomb maker.
Right.
The question is, am I better than he is today, or is he better than me? So what we believe was a battery, was like a little 6-volt battery, was actually an improvised claymore with a timing device inside. So they were hoping he was going to bring it to him and take it apart. And that's when it went off. Killed him instantly. So the device was never going to blow up that big shell. It was never going to do any damage to anybody. They were after my guy. So
which gives us insight into how
sure.
he operated, right? There's a certain cleverness in thinking things through, right?
Right. And it was tough because I as a seasoned EOD tech, along with my first sergeant, who were mastered badges and had been in for 15, 17 years, they said it the same. They said, that thing would have killed us too. It didn't matter. He did everything right. It wasn't like because he was brand new, it was his fault. It was going to get somebody. And unfortunately, it was my guy that day. So that got him.
So then what follows that? Is there, what do you do with to get everybody back on track, to get them back on mission?
Well, we're very fortunate with EOD because we usually pull everybody back into a central location, and that was back at our main compound base. So what happens is that other units, other EOD units, take a team and they disperse them to where all my guys were. So my guys come in for about 3 to 4 days, so we can go through a safety stand down. So it usually what happens, just like everything else that you can imagine, somebody dies, your unit goes on a communication blackout, which means no one can call anybody, no one can receive anything. So because we have to give the teams back in the States time to notify the family, so you bring everybody back in. This is something that the military has done a better job in, which is getting you to see doctors right away, talk to a psychologist. The thing is, most people are resistant to that, and call home. As soon as we get the notification that the family has been notified, then we can call. But you also understand that there's a heightened level of anxiety amongst the family back in the States, because everybody has a schedule that they usually call home. So when one person doesn't get a call on the time they're supposed to be scheduled, they know something's wrong. So everybody's freaking out. Everybody's trying to see if, was it my husband? Was it your husband? What does anybody know anything? They're calling everybody. And of course, again, no answers whatsoever. So my guy was a single guy. So it wasn't anybody there. But of course, the bad thing is that I have to tell some of my senior guys to go call their wife. Call your wife. I'm fine. I get that you're fine. She needs to hear that you're fine. Okay, I don't care. You don't have to cry. I don't. You call her. And it's an order. I mean, why do I have to tell you? Why do I have to give you a direct order to call home? And of course, you got all the stuff that's got to go with it. Now we got to send all the stuff home. So we got to do all the inventory and send all this gear back home. We have to get ready for a memorial service in country. I have to write the family a letter. And you're just sitting there. I sat at a computer for 5 hours. What do you say? There's nothing that you can say that's going to fill that hole of their 23-year-old son gone, So you write a letter, then you write something to say at the memorial service, and what do you say for that? I called my dad. Because my dad was a pastor at that time. I had just got out of being a pastor. And I said, I know you've done eulogies. I know that you had to do a lot. I need some help. And he goes, well, was he hated in the unit or was he liked in the unit? I go, what does that matter? He goes, if they're hated, it's easy. You can do a good story or two and you're good. I go, well, he was probably the most liked guy in the unit. He goes, well, that's going to suck for you. And that was it. He hung up on me. I'm like, okay. So, you try to remember everything and, you write something eloquent because this is back here. This is still going on back in the States. They're doing a service at Fort Hood. There's a representative that we had at Dover to meet the body because we fly somebody over with the body. So they're never alone. And then the Patriot Guard, which was the motorcycle group, they escort the body back up to the home of the family. And so then they go through this. I mean, understand this is about halfway through. So none of us are home. So the family's already mourned and gone through the ceremony before we get back home and then destroy them again when we decide to fly them back, which just depends if you want to hear all that too. So, because it's not over with, because it's all about closure. I mean, the military did a decent job of trying to get closure, not only for the family, but for the soldiers as well, the unit. So Red Cross pays for one trip to the base because when we got back home, First Cav or Cavalry Division is who we supported. They have their own wall. So they're going to honor our soldier and their soldiers as well with the name on the wall there. So we fly the family out. And you're sitting there. I'm sitting there not knowing who I'm going to get. Which parent am I getting? Am I going to get the parent that when I meet them, they spit on me? Am I going to get that parent who slaps me? Or do I get the parent that's going to cry with me? We got the parent that cried. I mean, they didn't blame us. They really didn't. And so that, that was impactful because I told my wife I was prepared for every one of these scenarios. And I understood the scenario. I understood the pain. In 2005, I lost friends because I was also there. And this one in '09 was more personal because I he was under my watch.